Hello and welcome back to Citizen Pew. This is Citizen Pew Commentary, and today I'm going to talk about brand loyalty and why I have no brand loyalty. So, before I get started, I want to thank all of you for watching this video and being subscribed to the channel. If you are, if you are not, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And after the video, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Moving forward, so I am no brand loyalist at all when it comes to firearms, knives, anything in my life. Honestly, I'm really not a brand loyalist, and there's a reason why. And I'm going to go over that, and you can tell me what you think down in the comments section. So, when I think of as far as like firearm enthusiasts and firearm YouTubers and stuff like that, what I consider to be when I see somebody who's a brand loyalist, they're basically we all know the example of the people like the Glock people who all Glock is the end all be all. Now don't get me wrong, I have a couple Glocks and I like them and I think they're great firearms, but I don't think they're the end all be all of firearms, right? I think there's other firearms out there that perform just as well, and can often be better for certain people and their styles than a Glock. So that being said, that's just an example of people who I know who are brand loyalists. And like I said, they have valid points on the functionalities of the firearms many times. I mean, they can spit out all the details and all the specs and everything, and oftentimes with many of the firearms they prop up. I agree, they're right. That's a great firearm, but for some reason they're also very loyal to the brand. All right, and I'm not like that, and I don't know how I didn't fall into that trap. And maybe this is some of the mindset I have that I'm going to go through. But I'll talk up a firearm all day long. I'll be like, "This is a great firearm. It's whatever, whether it's a pistol or a shotgun or a rifle, bolt action, lever action, whatever. I'll talk it up if it's a good piece, right?" And I'll definitely shout out the manufacturer and saying, "Hey, thank you for making a great product." But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, "Oh, they're the best manufacturer in the world. This is the only type of whatever you should ever get," right? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't. To me, nope. I would rather judge a manufacturer by multiple pieces, and I'm not going to give them credit for something just because they made a good piece a while back, right? You made it a nice firearm, 10 years ago, and then you come out with something new. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to go instantly like I got it. No, don't get me wrong. I'll probably try it out, definitely, because I like trying anything new out. But I'm not gonna hold back on my evaluation of that piece by any means. So now I got some notes here. I wanted to make sure I covered a few things. And like I said, there's a number of reasons why people become brand loyalists. And I think one of the big ones is investment. So, you know, uh, firearms cost money, and there are some high end firearms that cost, for a pistol. I would say the average going price for a pistol that's around, the median price for a decent firearm, pistol wise, for concealed carry or home defense or whatever, let's say $500, right? I think you can get a very good product for $500 from certain companies, certain brands. But there are people out there who'll drop $1,200 on a pistol, and they will talk it up. And I've shot some of these firearms, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's nice, but is it $700 more nice? Mm, mm, mm. And I think they will, and what I see is sometimes they will discredit the lower cost firearm in favor of theirs. Even though, don't get me wrong, the one they tout up is great firearm, but it isn't so great that this one that's at $500 is not great. They could perform the same, right? But so I think what gets some people into this trap of being brand loyalists, are their investment in the products of that brand, right? I've seen it with ARs too. Tons of people, many of you probably watching have seen it where, maybe Daniel Defense or whatever, some brand. I don't want to call out Daniel Defense. I don't think they make horrible products by any means, but I've seen people who are very loyal to Daniel Defense. And I guess, I mean, the brand I'm sure appreciates that. But for me, I'm not, nope, I'm not going to be loyal. I mean, I think if you need an AR, I think you can get a decent AR from, say, Smith and Wesson with their MMP 15. I think it's, for the price point, you get a decent product. I mean, it's not top of the line, but it's going to do everything you need it to. I mean, honestly, and in my opinion. So, but same way with Diamondback. A little bit pricier than the Smith and Wesson, but you're going to get a functioning firearm, and it's going to do what you need it to, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at, right? Home defense, self-defense, personal defense, whatever. I mean, now you want to start talking about firearms you're going to take into combat. I'm not going to talk about those. That's not what the products and the firearms I review and stuff like that are not for combat use. I consider them for home defense, personal defense, self-defense use, right? Now you can talk about when Armageddon happens, what then? Yeah, I mean, what then, right? Who knows? But as far as what I talk about, I think, like I said, that's my viewpoint. And so I think that you get a lot of brand loyalty from the amount of investment sometimes people make in products from that brand. But I've also seen some people who are very brand loyalists because it was their first exposure to something, right? So, maybe their first exposure to a 1911 was a Kimber, right? And everything they fire after that, they're like, it's not a Kimber. It's not a Kimber, right? Don't get me wrong. Kimber makes some good products. But if you want a 1911, I think there are other companies that make very decent quality, functioning, great 1911s for a lot cheaper, right? So, I've seen that too, where it's a person's first time exposure to maybe a new genre of firearm, whether it's a pistol or whether it's a type of pistol or rifle, shotgun, whatever. I've seen some bias towards that, right? And that's all brand. Usually that's what comes down to somebody who's a very brand loyal person. It's a bias, right? And there's always something that influences that bias. But we also have social media influence, right? Or social influence altogether, right? So, I'm a YouTuber, right? I have a gun enthusiast channel or firearm enthusiast channel, whatever you want to call it. And there's people who watch other channels, and these other channels are always talking up certain firearms. And they see that these people that they watch like those firearms, so they like those firearms, and I'll tell you this: if you're watching my videos, I don't ever want you to want to like a firearm because I like it. I want you to like a firearm because you like it. I'm going to present the stuff I like about it, and I'm always going to try to contrast it. And if you leave comments, I try to answer them and everything. But the last thing I want somebody to do is to say that guy likes it, I like it, right? Because no. Because there's firearms that are great firearms, but I don't use them because they don't work well with me, whether it's my style or my hands, my hand size, whatever. There's just firearms like that. And one I can give you an example of is going back to Diamondback, the DB9 pistol, right? I don't like it. I think it's a great product. I think Diamondback makes good stuff for the price, but it doesn't fit me well. It doesn't suit my style. But I wouldn't deter anybody from picking one up if they liked it, right? And anybody who has one, they've left comments in my video about the DB9, and I agree with them. It is quality-wise, it's great, all that stuff, but it just has some features about it that don't work with the style I have, and it would be too much for me to adopt to it. So, but like I said, that goes back to influence and stuff like that. And if I and I've done a couple videos where I've talked bad about a few firearms, and there's people that get in the comments and they're like, "Well, that's a great firearm," blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is for you, but maybe I got a lemon, maybe I didn't. But I think criticism is it's far different than being loyal, right? I mean, I'll criticize a gun, and I can take other people saying, "Well, you might have got a bad one." I'd be like, "Yeah, maybe I did," and maybe down the line I'll try another one. But I think when people hear about criticism of a firearm that they're loyal to, especially a brand, they're quick to jump on that criticism, and try to, you know, throw it off, get rid of it. They don't want to see that criticism. I don't want to hear bad things about my stuff. Um, so that's another thing about being a loyalist. I think so basically, it puts you in my mind, it puts people in a trap when you're a brand loyalist, right? Um, because people will try to discredit a firearm because they like a different brand, right? Or because it's $300 cheaper than the one they use for that same time, right? So if somebody has a concealed carry Micro 9 and they're like, "Oh, this is the only one you can get," and a brand comes out that's $300 cheaper, and in my opinion just as good. I see people criticize it because they're like, "Well, yeah, that's yeah, $400, whatever," right? So I'm like, nah, I mean, no, it can be good stuff, right? So I think brand loyalty puts people in a trap where they'll discredit products that are just as good, but for some reason they're loyal to this brand and they will discredit them. The other thing is, I think, is that it does as a trap is it tends to get people who are very loyal to brands to overhype their brand, right? Which is going back to the example of Glocks, right? Glocks got a lot of hype, and it almost became comically annoying with how much hype that the Glocks got. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I own Glock firearms, and I think they're great firearms, but they're not the end all be all of all firearms, right? So, and I think when you get people who are brand loyalists, sometimes that comes out very apparently that they are overselling something that doesn't deserve that much praise. So, and so in the end, I think the reason I wanted to make this video is because in the end, there are presenters out there who, what they're presenting is very biased information. I don't want to say that they're being dishonest. I think everybody, at least the videos I watch, I think people are trying to be honest, but I think they come across as very biased. And for me, that's a concern of their product as an influencer, right? And I really appreciate it when people in my comment sections, because I really try to read them all, as I get more videos out and more viewers. Sometimes I get a couple days behind, but I really like looking at the comments because to me it's a check on myself, right? If somebody calls me out and says whatever, then I self check myself there and say that's right, and like I said, I'm not perfect, and I know nobody is, right? So as much as I say I don't want to be a brand loyalist, there will probably down the line be somewhere where I say something very loyalistic like, and somebody's going to call me out on it, and I'm going to tell them, good on you, you're right, because that's not what I want to be. I don't want to be a brand loyalist because I think it's a trap. I think it gets you. I think it gets people from looking at other products in an objective way, because in the firearm manufacturing, there's so much innovation going on, and a new firearm comes out, and you're like, wow, this thing is really nice, and all that, but the word might not get out because of stuff like brand loyalty. So anyhow, that's really I wanted to do this video. I had a couple conversations about this with some people in person and in the chat, and I said, yeah, I don't think of myself as a brand loyalist, if I can say that right. I don't think of myself as one. But as viewers of my channel, if you see me acting like one, by all means, call me out, because I like to try everything, and I want to put the praise where the praise belongs, and that's on the product, right? So I don't care who makes it. If it's a great product, it's a great product, period. And I did a video a while back where I compared the Smith & Wesson CSX with the Taurus GX4. And in my opinion, GX4 won, right? It's a little cheaper firearm, and it's polymer frame, whereas the Smith & Wesson was a aluminum frame. And I honestly went into it kind of expecting the Smith & Wesson to do a little bit better just because of those features. But for me, my style, the Taurus GX4 nailed it. And I saw some people and talked to some people who didn't agree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. That is my opinion from my experience. But I'm not a loyalist to Taurus. I'm not a loyalist to Smith & Wesson. I think they both make great products, and I think they've both made some, stuff. But I try to be fair, and I think that's where that's one of the things I wanted to get out of this video was, how do you be fair? If you have a loyalty to a brand, then I can't be pushing out content that's fair, right? It's always going to have a bias. Anyhow, I'm probably rambling on now, but like I said, I had these conversations with some people, both in person and online, and I was like, I should do a video on it. And like I said, I put together some notes and stuff like that, some things I wanted to touch on. But I did kind of just throw it together because I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. And so anyhow, let me know what you think down in the comments section about brand loyalty. Are you loyal to a brand? Or are you, like I said, that's different than being loyal to a particular firearm, right? I could say that my Glock 17 is the best and trash talk Glock all day long, but I'm not being loyal to the brand. I'm being loyal to the firearm, right? And anyhow, just using Glock as an example there. But there are firearms that I am very adamant about that are great firearms. But I still don't want to be loyal to that brand because I want to hold them accountable when they put out crap, right? So anyhow, all right, I'm definitely rambling on now. So anyhow, let me know your thoughts. Put a comment down in the comment section. Like the video if you thought it was a worthy topic to discuss. And check out a couple other videos, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Y'all have a good day.